story of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
This is Franky Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Franky Rose.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Think Tank. So we are on our way. They are going to be discussing that motion that Lolly put in to get rid of one of the expert witnesses. So I think they started just a couple of seconds ago. Let's get right back to where they start. And
Commonwealth is just seeking that the defendant produce what the Commonwealth is entitled to under Rule 14 and what every criminal defendant in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts must produce to the prosecution. It was not until the day prior to trial on April 15, 2024, that the defendant provided notice of all their experts. During impanelment, the Commonwealth filed a renewed motion for reciprocal discovery, and the defendant was ordered within a week to produce the expert opinion testimony that the Commonwealth is entitled to. We are now entering, I believe, week 8 of the trial. The Commonwealth has not received any intended expert opinions, anything that those experts, any written reports, opinions, or anything that those experts have based their opinions on. Essentially, the defendant's strategic decisions not to retain their own expert, but rather rely on the U.S. Attorney's Office investigation does not alleviate them or relieve them from their Rule 14 obligations. As it pertains to Dr. Marie Russell, the Commonwealth did not receive notice that she's an intended expert until about week 6 of the trial on May 21st, and it wasn't until May 30th that the defendant provided a brief synopsis of what her expected testimony would be. Essentially, and looking at the balancing tests set forth by the case law, the Commonwealth was extremely surprised by this disclosure, and further, the Commonwealth would put that the defendant's delayed decisions to produce reciprocal discovery is in bad faith. It is intended to ambush the Commonwealth and conduct a trial by surprise. We are still receiving reciprocal discovery. Over the weekend, we received additional photographs that the defendant intends to use. The Commonwealth is extremely prejudiced by these delayed disclosures. So looking at all the balancing factors, exclusion of Dr. Russell is really the only remedy that's appropriate given that we are in week 8 of the trial. The Commonwealth cannot seek a continuance. The Commonwealth has their hands tied with how to effectively prepare for cross-examination of that witness as well as all the other witnesses. We don't have any materials. We don't know what the experts' precise opinions are and what they were testified to. And it's essentially, it is in bad faith and there's no less severe sanction. So the Commonwealth would move to exclude Dr. Russell. And at this point, we are essentially just seeking the reciprocal discovery that the Commonwealth is entitled to be able to effectively prepare cross-examination of these witnesses so late in the game. Thank you very much.
All right, who's arguing this for the defendant?
that's all they had?
There's no mic at council table, so I'm going to go to the podium with the court's permission.
Yes.
We need to be heard on this.
That's why we're here, Mr. Yannetti.
Thank you. I'd like to start with the most outrageous and false assertion that the Commonwealth made in its motion.
Can I just ask you, there's no jury here, can I just ask you how long this is going to take?
Between 5 and 10 minutes.
Okay.
Tops.
Because I don't need, the hyperbole.
Your Honor, I need to make my argument in the way that I think is most effective for my client. I will keep this brief and succinct, but I have points to make that I need to put on record.
Okay, and I'm the person you are trying to convince, correct?
I understand that. The Commonwealth, in a public filing, wrote the following on page 3 of its motion. Quote, during a pretrial hearing on February 15th, when asked by the court whether there was any dispute about a canine's involvement or canine DNA, Attorney Yannetti indicated no, and that the defense was not pursuing such claim. I was astounded to read that for 2 reasons. First of all, it is false. It is a lie. Second, The Commonwealth has knowingly lied about something where it's easily verifiable that they lied. We pulled the tape from February 15th.
I don't have that.
I'm sorry?
I don't have that in my motion.
It's on page 3, Your Honor.
I have the Commonwealth's renewed motion for reciprocal discovery, a motion to exclude defendant's expert, Dr. Marie Russell. I don't see your name at all, Ms. Gianetti. I'm on page 3.
I'm sorry, it's not page 3, it's page 4. My apologies. My name is right there on page 4. It says exactly what I just argued to the court. It's about the 5th line down. It starts during a final pretrial hearing on February 15th, exactly
Okay.
as I said.
Okay.
All right? We pulled the tape from that February 15th hearing. Here is what was actually said. This court asked me the following, quote, while we're talking about DNA, Mr. Yannetti, do we need to be concerned about canine DNA? Where do we stand with that? I replied, no, I think this is the only outstanding DNA issue. The court then replied, okay, so all right, we're not dealing with canine DNA. And I said, no. There is nothing in there, contrary to what the Commonwealth has represented to this court in a public filing, that I said there was no canine involvement. There is nothing in there, contrary to what the canine represented to this court and to the public, that the defense was not pursuing such a claim. Can you imagine the nerve of the Commonwealth to spin that into
This is the hyperbole I don't need. Could you please get to the point?
Your Honor,
We've got a jury coming in 15 minutes.
I understand, but this is my integrity has been attacked. There have been allegations of bad faith that has been attacked, and I need to defend myself and my client. We were only discussing at that time whether canine DNA was still outstanding, and I succinctly replied, no. And they've spun that, or tried to spin that, into a claim that we're somehow waiving our right to argue that John O'Keefe's arm injuries were consistent with a dog attack. And I ask you, have they no shame? I'm sure it's not lost on this court that this false filing by the Commonwealth comes on the heels of their nefarious attempt to pass off an inverted video, a false video, before this good jury hearing this case. Never once during the direct examination of Sergeant Buchanan did they inquire or mention the fact that the video...
Can we please, all right, I'm going to stop you. Please direct your comments to Rule 14 and the reciprocal discovery obligations that the defense has. That's what this motion is. I know you have a speech you want to make, Mr. Yannetti.
It's not a, Your Honor, it's most respectfully, it's not a speech. It's
Okay,
it's a defense of being alleged to have committed bad faith.
So you've moved on from that. So please just focus on Rule 14 and let's do it in 2 separate parts. So you've changed, you're not calling Frank Sheridan,
No,
right?
we are calling Frank Sheridan.
All right. So you've got a new medical, Dr. Russell. We'll do that part of it separately. Tell me about what you've provided the Commonwealth on Chris Van E.
They've gotten his CV and they've gotten the substance of his opinion from us. And they've had that for a long time. And the court, I believe, has already suggested that voir dire will be done prior to his testimony.
All right. So it's starting to look like we might need a whole day of voir dire, and I'm trying to avoid that. So is the Commonwealth satisfied that when did you provide anything recently since the filing of the Commonwealth's motion, Mr. Yannetti?
Not on Mr. Van E, no.
What does the Commonwealth have on Mr. Van E?
On Mr. Van E, all the Commonwealth has is what's contained, the synopsis on page 2, the first full paragraph. We do not know what his opinions are. It says he'll testify regarding his opinions and conclusions about reconstruction and EDR data obtained in connection with this case. He'll testify to chronological data derived from the EDR, including key cycles and triggering events from the time period in question. I have no understanding or information about what chronological data he's going to testify to, what his ultimate opinions are, anything beyond that relatively vague synopsis that does not comply with Rule 14.
Okay.
Similarly, what's outlined in the rest of the motion, that's all the expert evidence the Commonwealth has received from the defense is contained within the Commonwealth's motion.
Okay. So the defense needs to provide, I'd suggest you listen. The defense needs to
Oh.
provide what chronological data Mr. Vanny relied upon and exactly what his opinion is. All right, by the close of business tomorrow.
That's fine.
All right. Now, regarding the 3 experts from ARCCA. So I've read that report. I can't tell who does what or what the basis of their opinion is. So what have you provided?
Your Honor, we've provided everything that we know. We've mentioned to this court at sidebar, these experts did not arise from us.
I understand that.
These experts were hired by the federal government, and they provided a report to us pursuant to the TUI request, and it was specifically outlined that and ruled that they could not prep with us for trial.
So I'm to believe that the defense is calling 3 witnesses that you've never spoken to and putting them on the stand here when...
That's essentially it. We've spoken to them only for the purposes of coordination of their testimony and their background. That's it. We have not been able to interview them regarding their findings, which are outlined in detail in the reports that both sides have.
See, I don't see that as being, the report, I don't see that as being detailed. It leaves a lot of questions as the gatekeeper as to what they can testify to.
Well,
And you have not complied with your Rule 14
we
obligations.
can't, Your Honor. We can't.
So you can't, but you haven't. So I am left with you
What?
haven't complied. So we need to get everybody here for voir dire. They can testify in a voir dire, right?
Yes.
We need to do that well in advance of their
Okay,
testimony.
that's fine, Your Honor.
All right.
Yep.
And now tell me about this ER doc. Is she an ER doc? I haven't seen her. She's not a pathologist,
Well,
correct?
she's a pathologist, but she has a lot of experience in an ER, which is why she has the experience of having seen dog scratches and dog bites and dog attacks.
All right. So this is not somebody that was involved in the federal investigation, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you need to provide immediately. I want a voir dire of her this week. So we can get her here Wednesday. And we want the other folks up here from Pennsylvania this week as well.
Okay, we'll make those calls.
So we need to pick a day. How long do you expect the voir dire of each of these witnesses? If in fact the defense has not spoken to these witnesses from Pennsylvania about the nature of their opinion, you must want it too, to be able to question them. How long do you expect the voir dire of each of these witnesses to take? I went and told the jury last week, excuse me,
I'm sorry.
last week that we were going to get them this case by the end of the month based on your representations, which included voir dires. It looks like at least a day of voir dire hearings here.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a witch. Good God. Holy, this woman. How you doing, James?
At least with regard to the, of course, at least with regard to the ARCO witnesses, that's my co-counsel's
Jesus,
bailiwick.
this woman.
He anticipates that unless there are, a substantial number of objections during the voir dire, he anticipates being able to accomplish that between 45 minutes to an hour with each of those 3. With regard to Dr. Russell, we anticipate a half hour. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, there's only 2 from ARCO, that's right.
You're only calling 2? Which 2? Are you calling the 2 that are certified as accident reconstructionists?
Doctors Rinchler and Wolf. Yes.
She doesn't give them 2 seconds to speak their case. Her sighing or groaning and moaning up there, it's like, holy shit, woman. Oh my goodness. She just took a week off and then half of last week, and she's telling them to hustle. I can see what kind of day it's going to be today. That could very well be, Tony. I'm going to start having them. Just unreal. I wish I had some kind of knowledge on the law in this state because I'd love to know the truth of what she's pulling. Lolly doesn't want a dog bite expert. I wonder why that is. Hmm. Oh, she's got her mic off. What, she doesn't want us to hear what kind of BS is going on? Oh, lordy, this woman. She literally turned her mic off. It's a public proceeding, Bev. How do you not understand this? This woman's harsh first thing Monday morning. Well said, James. Well said. Holy. I don't have blood pressure pills, but I wish I did. Mm. So we were saying in Discord, this woman, this case is not freaking healthy for us. Yes. Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. This is just unreal. Well, I understand why she turns off her mic at times. Mine's because the dogs are barking. Her, it's because her BS is flipping all over the place. Deep sigh. I don't need to hear this, Mr. Lally or Mr. Yannetti. You don't even know what he's going to say. Just brutal. Well, that's exactly the thing, Tony. The defense should be allowed an alternate theory, but Bev doesn't want to let them. And that's what it's all about. I mean, if they agreed with the prosecution, we wouldn't be at trial, right? Good God, Martha. Yeah, I don't have blood pressure issues at this point in life, but if this carries on, my doctor's going to say, no more trials for you, Franky. Just wow. It'd be nice if we knew exactly what she was actually allowed to get away with and what she wasn't. But I don't know, like all of these different states. Yes, the defense should bring in their own solo cups to drink from. Exactly. Exactly. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, guys. I don't drink, but I'm thinking that might be an option. I think you're probably right. She must be very insecure. It seems to me most control freaks are. And if she's worried that the defense might have found some corruption, She should be inviting that. She shouldn't be hiding that. The whole idea is to seek truth, not to avoid and hide everything that you can. I truly, truly wish. I wonder if they are going to be allowed to call feds up to the stand. I don't know about that stuff, so I don't know how that exactly works, but that would be nice, wouldn't it? Could you imagine Lolly flipping out at that point? Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? She's not as smart as she thinks she is. She's just up there spinning wool. I mean, doing whatever she can. I mean, if the FBI finds out that she's crooked, she's not doing herself any favors, is she? I really wish I knew more about what the FBI was finding or found. Because something smells in her court. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a hot day today? Are we going to see lots of lots of sidebars and arguments? I think it's going to be interesting once they get up, once the defense gets up today and gets a chance at this witness. Yeah, go back to family court, Bev. Yeah. Jackson Solo Cups. Yeah. Pig DNA. How the hell do you have pig DNA? Is there a pig in that house other than the obvious ones? It really did, Ruthie. I have a feeling we might get a little bit of heat today because maybe the lawyers aren't going to take her crap anymore. Yep. That's the thing. Flipping the video has already put Lolly into a criminal conspiracy. Watch your step, Bev. That could be it. Oh, my word.
Okay, come on.
What the hell is she doing now? I'm sure she was late for this morning, too. I have no doubt. Why she got us on mute again? What the hell? Yeah, started the hearing late. There we go. Yeah, exactly. She's late for everything. Literally 10 minutes. I'm thinking they have as much as they can. Good call. I never really thought about that. That's actually a fairly popular treat, isn't it? Pig's ears. That's interesting. There was a lot of pigs in the house that night. Come on, Bev. Get your shite together. We're waiting for you. As usual. I have not seen a judge that is this late ever, I don't think. I've never seen it where they're consistently late like this woman. I can't even be nice enough and call her judge because she certainly doesn't act one. She judges everyone. Lordy, lordy. I need to turn this up a little bit. Oh, wrong button. What? Come on, Bev. Okay. Right. Yeah, I don't think Bev has fans, does she? Not anymore, if she ever did. As a miserable old witch. How is it even right for her to cut off how is she even allowed to be rushing them through like this? Is it legal? Like, isn't she showing bias, or is that just me? Bev and Lolly show. Yep. Late Judge Shoddy Court. When she comes in, I'd say, "Oh, good afternoon, Your Honor." Yep, bias Bev. There's lots of names that suit this witch. Oh, yeah, you can. That's the thing, Tony. And I don't blame them. Like, she shuts them down every corner. Maybe she needs a little bit of a bark back. You know? She has been the most unfair judge. Oh, it is. It's the most disrespectful thing she could possibly do. Hurry up, hurry up. I don't even know. And then at the end, she just hits mute and we hear nothing. And I don't know quite how that works either, because like I say, it's a public hearing. Defense may take her to task or leading her into a verbal trap to be on the record. That could very well be, Carrie. That could very well be. Yannetti is to the point where he doesn't care. He's going to say what he needs to say, and Bev don't like it. I'm really wondering about that, Christy. I'm so wondering about that. Like, how much of this, when does it stop? And justice actually, when will justice be shown in her courtroom? Will it be shown in her courtroom? You know, I'm surprised that the defense hasn't asked already for a mistrial, or just for not even mistrial, for them to say, drop these charges. Like, there's nothing here. But I have a feeling Bev would say, no, we're going to sit here and I'm going to be late for the next 10 months every single day. And maybe by the end of it, oh, Lord. I half think Lolly is trying to throw it. Sometimes it does look that way. I don't know, but it's really making me wonder. I have no idea how she can sit there and give Lolly all the time he wants, when he wants, and then Yannetti's up there, or Jackson's up there, or that other lawyer there gets up. She sighs. She rushes them through. She has a million sidebars. It's just, oh. Yeah, and I think that's why she mutes us out a lot of times. I sure hope so, Dingo. It's so frustrating, this woman. And she'll put that smile. I have to go over these. Look at that fake face. Oh my God.
Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court, Unified County of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Court is now open. You may be seated.
Look at that.
22117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
Good morning, jurors. We all met here at 8:30 to try and streamline things. And as a result
Oh.
of what we did this morning, it looks like there'll be some day this week that we will all meet to go through things that we need to go through, but we will excuse you. I just don't know quite yet when that will be. We'll know by the end of the day. And also on the 21st, originally we said we'd be off for the 21st. But again, you know that we don't want to take up any more of your time.
Oh, yeah.
So we will meet on the 21st, but just in the morning because I have a long-standing afternoon that we cannot cancel. So the 21st will be a half a day. So we'll let you
She's
know
such a
more as the
liar.
day progresses. All right, I do have to ask those questions. Were you all able to follow the instructions and refrain from discussing this case with anyone since we left on Friday? Yes. Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Were you also able to follow the instructions and refrain from doing any independent research or investigation into this case? Yes. Everyone said yes or nodded affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, read anything about this case since we left here on Friday? No. Thank you. Everyone said no or shook their heads. Thank you very much. Can we get Sergeant Buchanan, please?
Oh, I cannot wait for the defense to go at him.
The flash drive that I gave you.
Yeah.
You solemnly swear the evidence you give the court during the case down here and show the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Oh, here we go, guys. Here we go.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. So when we left off on Thursday, we were discussing the sallyport video that was introduced by the Commonwealth on Wednesday during direct examination. Do you recall that?
I do.
When he introduced that video, Mr. Lally asked you several very specific questions about the video, including if you recognize the video in general, correct?
Yes, he did.
And you said you did.
I did.
He also asked you whether you recognized any of the individuals in the video at a particular time where he paused the video and you used your green laser pointer to point out a couple of individuals that you recognize. Do you recall that?
I do.
And in that pause, you indicated at that time on Wednesday that you recognized Trooper Proctor and what you thought was yourself, the person slipping at the front of the SUV, correct?
I indicated that Trooper Proctor and myself were in the video, and there was an individual slipping in the front of the vehicle.
And you then on Thursday, you corrected that to make sure that we were clear about it. The person slipping was actually the tow driver, not you, correct?
That's what it appeared, so yes.
Okay, I'd like to take a quick look at that with the court's permission at 4:46. May I publish
Okay.
that?
Yes.
This is 4:46. It's the same video that you were shown by Mr. Lally. We're at runtime about 5:37 and 05 p.m. I'm sorry, I said runtime. I meant time of day. Thank you. As a matter of fact, the time of day would be most easily seen right down here, although it's pretty small from where you're at. If you can't see that, please let me know.
I do not see that, no.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll hold off on that question, and I may ask the court for relief in just a moment. If we can play this for just a quick second, and I'll ask you, Mr. Bates, if you can pause it. Go ahead and pause there. Okay. Sergeant, this is the basic video, the point at which it was paused when Mr. Lally asked you to identify the individuals in the video, correct?
I believe it was a different time, but I'm not sure.
Do you remember using your green laser pointer, pointing at the person in the back and identifying that person as Trooper Proctor, and then pointing at the person in the front, screen right, mistakenly, understandably, mistakenly as you? You remember that?
I remember indicating where the individuals would be, yes.
Okay, and so do you have the green laser pointer with you?
I do.
Could you point at the location where you see Trooper Proctor?
I do not know specifically right now if that is Trooper Proctor in the behind the vehicle, but when Mr. Lally asked me to indicate where we would be, it was in this location here.
You're indicating toward the rear of the SUV.
Correct.
On Wednesday, and I just want to draw your attention back to your testimony on Wednesday, you used the laser pointer and pointed at two different individuals, the person toward the back, and you identified him as Mr. Proctor, as Trooper Proctor, correct? On Wednesday.
I indicated that Trooper Proctor myself would be in the shot in the rear of the vehicle. And then I indicated that I'm wearing a olive drab baseball hat and Trooper Proctor's wearing a winter style knit black hat.
Isn't it true that on Wednesday, what the question you were asked from Mr. Lally is, Ms. Gilman, from Mr. Lally, Ms. Gilman, if you can just pause there for a moment as the sergeant's almost falling in the video. And the court said, keep your voice up, Mr. Lally. Do you recall that?
I do not recall that, no.
Do you remember Mr. Lally saying, Sergeant Buchanan, with reference to any of the individuals you see in this video, do you recognize any of those individuals? And you responding, I can recognize Trooper Proctor and myself. And you used the green laser pointer in doing so.
Yes, I did.
And that was on this area, may not be to the frame, but this is where the video was paused when you made that identification, correct?
It was approximately at this time.
Okay. So you were then asked after you identified, and at that time you did identify Trooper Proctor and again, mistakenly, yourself, correct?
I directed the laser to the area where we would be.
Okay. And Trooper Proctor is the one toward the back of the truck.
Again, I cannot tell you which individual. There are multiple individuals there. I do not know at this point in time where it's frozen if that's exactly Trooper Proctor. I know we were present at that location, and I know what he was wearing for a headdress and what I was wearing.
All right, so you have to move along from this point.
Then why did you,
Jesus,
why
bam.
on Wednesday did you indicate very clearly that the person toward the back of the SUV was Trooper Proctor? If you don't know, why did you say that on Wednesday?
During a frozen frame, I could tell there were two individuals back there, and I was at one point in time in that location with Trooper Proctor.
That appeared to be Trooper Proctor in the back of the car.
From where the video is frozen right now, I cannot tell.
Jesus.
So you're changing your testimony from Wednesday.
Objection.
Are you changing your testimony?
I am not changing my testimony, no.
Okay, next question, Mr. Jackson.
You then asked whether the video was true and accurate as in terms of its depiction of what you saw, what you observed in Sallyport that night, correct?
I indicated the video is true and accurate to the location.
And you were then asked whether or not, in looking at that video, watching it, either you or Trooper Proctor approached, manipulated, touched that right rear taillight at any time, and your answer was never, correct?
That's correct.
And while you testified, this is the video that was displayed for the jurors, correct? And it was this orientation, the front of the truck facing right, the rear of the truck facing left, correct?
That's correct.
And for all appearances, it would appear that the right rear taillight of the SUV is the one facing the jurors, if you will, facing the viewer, right? From appearances. You didn't know anything different.
Can you rephrase that question, please?
Sure. Just from the appearance of the video, as it is now, the appearance of the video, it looks like the right rear taillight is the taillight that's facing the jurors, facing the viewer, toward the rear of the truck, correct?
As it is frozen, correct.
Oh my.
And on Wednesday, I want to move through this relatively briefly, Sergeant. On Wednesday, you did not mention that this video was inverted, did you?
It was not brought out, no.
Not brought out by, I mean, that's a passive way of saying it. I'm asking you directly. Did you mention that this was an inverted video?
Not on Wednesday, no.
On Thursday, Mr. Lally finished his questioning on Wednesday, then came back on Thursday. You continued on direct examination under questioning by Mr. Lally again to start the day, correct?
That is correct.
And during that testimony on Thursday morning, you also, under direct examination, did not mention that this video was inverted, did you?
Did not know.
And then it was my turn to ask you questions. You recall that?
I do.
And then I began asking you questions about the accuracy of this video. And at that time, for the first time, you said it appears that it is a mirror image. It's an inverted video, correct?
I advised you that it is a mirrored image at that point, correct?
Jesus, buddy. Are you freaking kidding me?
Would you agree with me now, as you sit here, that this video, as we're looking at it, is not a true and accurate depiction of what you viewed in that sallyport that night?
I would not agree with you, no.
Do you believe that what the jurors are seeing right here is a true and accurate, surveillance footage of the sallyport that night?
Yes, it's just mirrored.
Which means what's left is right and what's right is left, correct?
Correct. If the jurors were actually standing where the camera is recording, which it's recording all accurate depiction of activity and events taking place, the back of the vehicle would be on the right and the front of the vehicle would be on the left, but all activity is accurately depicted in the video.
So in point of fact, everything in this video, every bit of it is reversed, correct?
It's just a mirror image.
So it's not accurate, is it?
Jesus, man.
It's an accurate depiction of what has taken place.
Sergeant Buchnick, if I were to ask you,
Jesus criminy.
let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say you were
Think this is
investigating a
funny,
circumstance in
asshole?
which a suspect was being identified by 5 witnesses based on a tattoo on that person's left arm. And then you go show that witness, or those series of witnesses, an inverted version of a photograph of that person with the tattoo appearing on his right arm. And those witnesses all say, no, that's not the guy. I remember the guy. The guy had the tat on the left arm. Would you think that that's an accurate depiction of the person with the tattoo?
Objection.
Sustained.
What?
Do you agree with me that an inverted video is not accurate? It's inverted by definition, right?
It's an accurate depiction of the events taking place.
Oh my God.
You've reviewed this video in its entirety, you testified, correct?
Yes.
About how long would you say this video is in its runtime from start to finish?
I did not take note of the length of the video.
All right. I'm going to ask you, Mr. Bates, if you could, with court's permission, can you just pull the cursor back to the beginning of the time of day for this video? And pause it there. Can you see, and this is not an eye exam, can you see the timestamp on the lower left-hand side?
No, I cannot.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I could do this.
I'd like to see it sidebar.
Oh, Bev. Oh, you bitch. Oh my God, you guys. Yep, and she's shutting them down. She's shutting them down. Guys, we're only 45 minutes into this. Oh my goodness. I did it. I knew that she would start as soon as they started to make points. She's going to shut them down. She didn't do this to frickin' Lolly. It's going to be a long day. And this guy is doing his absolute best to twist things around. And what the judge thinks, that's okay. It's okay, Mr. Asshole. You can sit there as long as you want and try and twist the truth. It's all good in my court. Jackson, get up here. You're digging for the truth. No truth. We do not want truth in this courtroom. He made no points. No, he didn't. But, you know, at the same point, why is she shutting these guys down? Let them question. We're supposed to be after the truth. Yeah. And let it go for days as fact. I don't like those two. They're sitting there. I'm sorry. I just don't like them. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly, James. Must be okay to lie in her court, flip videos, perjury. Oh. Yeah, he does know how to mince words, but I think he's looking like a fool. You know, it sounds like it looks to me like he's just looking like a fool, not saying what it is. And I think hopefully the jury will see that he's just playing a word game. It just blows me away what she thinks is okay. She rushed him through this morning. I just think she's doing her best to throw the defense off. If she's not prejudiced, why is all of this happening? And if she's back there trying to push, I think Jackson and Yannetti will eventually just say, what the hell? What kind of kangaroo court is this? Never seen such a thing. Yeah, that's it. Let's take 2 weeks off and then rush through the rest. It's so frustrating. And a person can't do anything except sit here and watch the crookedness. Can't even do anything. You know, you want to just say, come on, where is justice? Let's get a different trial. Let's get a different judge. Let's get rid of Lolly and see if we can't do this correctly. I hope they're fighting for her rights, because this is bullshit. Franky's starting to get potty mouth, so I'm going to try and mellow myself out because I can see F-bombs flying today. While we're waiting, subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to hit that bell. There's so many other good judges, Tony, isn't there? How this woman, not fit to be a judge on American Idol.
You are unmuted.
Jurors, sometimes lawyers have what we call stipulations rather than prolonging either testimony or calling an additional witness. Lawyers agree as to certain facts. So what the lawyers have agreed to here is that this video begins at 5:30 and 23 seconds, 5:30 p.m. and 23 seconds, and it ends at 5:48 and 15 seconds. And the total run time of the video is 5 minutes and 51 seconds.
Oh, thanks for that, Ben.
All right. Your questions, Mr. Jackson?
That's really important. I bet the jury is glad you clarified all that.
Thank you for that, Your Honor. Sergeant Buchanan, given the fact that the beginning time, the time of day, is 5:30 and 23 seconds in the evening, and the end time of this video stops at 5:48 and 15 seconds, would you agree with me, without doing the math down to the seconds, That's about 17 minutes and 50 seconds or so
In real time, yes.
in real time. The actual time of this video, the run time of this video, however, is only 5 minutes and 51 seconds, less than 6 minutes. You'd agree with that?
That is what's captured.
So that means that about 2/3 of the video is missing, correct?
It's not missing, just not recorded.
It's not there.
It was never there.
I'm not saying it was ever there. I'm saying I don't know if it was ever there or not. Neither do you. I'm saying it's not there, correct?
It was never recorded.
Well, you don't know what has been or and wasn't recorded, do you?
Objection.
What?
I'll let him answer that.
Lolly, sit down. You don't even know what.
I can only speak to what was turned over and what we received, and based on the evidence that was produced, the video that was produced is what we got.
I understand. So based on that answer,
Bonehead.
you acknowledge you don't know what may or may not have been recorded without your knowledge.
No.
Right.
Now, Muppet.
Did you notice that there were obvious portions of the video
Hula.
that in which individuals just seem to appear or apparate out of nowhere?
It's not a smooth recording of the events. When the motion triggers the recording, the video appears as if a person appeared in the video. But that is due to the triggering of the recording.
Well, you don't know what it's due to because you're not an IT person who actually captured the video, correct?
Objection.
Sustained, ask that differently.
Sure. You're not the IT person, the technical person who captured this video, correct?
I am not, no.
You don't maintain this video system, do you?
I do not know.
You don't know the inner workings of how the video system was originally installed or how it operates, correct?
Based on my training and experience, I know that certain systems, due to the restrictions of the storage of the system, they try to save the storage and trigger the recording only by motion or certain time parameters. So in this video footage, I could tell you that the video is triggered by motion to record.
Well, how much storage did this system have?
I do not know.
Exactly.
What was the level of storage at the time that this video was taken? Was it 60%? Was it 99%? What was it?
I do not know.
So you actually don't know, Sergeant, the inner workings of this system, do you?
I do not know all the inner workings of the system.
But you do know that there appears to be portions of this video missing and portions of this video in which people just seem to apparate out of nowhere.
It's not missing. It just was not recording.
Let's move to, I think it was 5:37.
You're not doing very good there, buddy.
2 seconds. Okay, if we could, with the court's permission, can we play about less than a minute?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, what's that guy doing over there? What's that guy doing over there by that back?
Pause it. Did you see where the person that was toward the back of the vehicle went in this video?
It appeared they went behind the vehicle.
Which would be which area of the vehicle, the right or the left, in real life, not on this video?
In real life, it would be the right rear portion of the vehicle.
Toward
Yeah,
the tail
look it
light.
out, JJ. Holy.
That quarter panel, correct?
Let's go ahead and play it.
What's he doing back there?
Pause it. Did it appear that someone just seemed to appear out of nowhere toward the rear of the vehicle just now?
Due to the triggering of the motion,
I asked you why. I asked you if. Did it appear if someone just appeared out of nowhere in the back of the vehicle?
that's what the footage represents, yes.
Can we go ahead and play this?
There we are. Who's that?
Pause it. Did you see that the person walking away from the vehicle that you earlier on Wednesday identified as Trooper Proctor appeared to have a notebook, black portfolio in his hand?
Yes, I did.
And can you see from there, I'm going to ask you this basically knowing the answer, can you see from there the time of day on the lower left side as that person leaves the screen?
No, I cannot.
Would you disagree if I indicated to you that was 5:38 and 7 seconds in the evening?
I would have to see it for myself. I cannot agree with you based on your statement.
What an idiot. It is, Harley. It's like, we're not even an hour in.
You want to maybe approach briefly?
Sure.
All that, like, this guy is making, in my personal opinion, he's making a fool out of himself because he's arguing what we can all see with our own eyes. That makes no sense. Yeah, why is the timestamp not flipped, officer? Oh,
You are unmuted.
All right. So, Sergeant, we're going to ask you to go take a look at that, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
everything that's happening in this court.
And please don't speak until you're back in the witness stand.
How interesting.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Jackson?
Thank you. Sergeant, did you have an opportunity to look at the time of day at the point that the video is paused right now?
Yes, I did.
What is that time of day?
5:38:07.
5:38 and 7 seconds, correct?
That's correct.
And remind me about how far of a drive in time is this location at Canton PD from 34 Fairview?
With no traffic, no adverse weather and road conditions, several minutes, four minutes, maybe 5 minutes, depending which route you take.
Good God.
Your Honor, I have a flash drive that I'd like to have marked.
Is this a different flash drive than we had on Friday?
It is, and I can explain it sidebar if the court wishes.
All right. Are you just marking it or you intend to show it?
I intend to show it with the court's permission.
All right. So we'll mark it for identification and then I do need to see you. Yes. Thank you.
Maybe approach.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be sidebar, 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 as far as I can tell, every time the defense goes up. Because there's a lot of stuff they don't want in. She should just go up. Because it sounds like she does have that right. Unless, of course, Bev has changed that too, which wouldn't surprise me. It seems to be her method. What? What is Bev doing now? I know. It's unreal. So what are they going to do? Testimony while the jury is out to see if it's allowed again? That's what I think too. I know it is, Ruthie. It's just what? I can't believe she's running this kangaroo court. Have they not caught on to her methods yet? Or is this just verging on legal, what she does? Is it just verging and there's nothing no one can do? I think so. I think so. Wow. No, they don't. No. She has taken so much time off for whatever reason. I mean, this is going into the 8th week and Lolly's not even done. I mean, he kept this guy on for almost a full day. And we learned nothing. And now that it's these guys, it's sidebar. Nope, can't bring that in. Nope, can't do this. Nope, can't do that. Restricted with this, restricted with that. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I just, I should be used to seeing the way she's running her court, but I'm not. I don't think I'll ever get used to watching what I think is crooked. I don't think I'll ever not get frustrated over it. Try and keep myself a little bit level so the blood pressure doesn't go through the roof, but it is. Holy. Anyone that's got blood pressure issues, make sure you got your meds close during this trial because she'll send you through the roof. There's right now 2 cases where the judges, to me, are beyond questionable, and that's Fran Gull in Delphi, that case, and this woman. I just can't get over what we see. I think you're right. I don't think he's going to need an appeal unless the jury is tainted. Any reasonable person can see what's going on here. I agree, Tony. She does, Ruthie. She's got a humongous superiority complex. She definitely loves having the control. I don't see Turtle Boy back there. I wonder, maybe he's just not allowed in still. He calls himself a journalist, so I wonder if he has gone to journalism school. I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to... 2-minute recess.
All rise for the court, please.
2-minute recess? What the F, Bev? Oh my God, guys. I'll be back. I'm just going to run to the liquor store. Oh my God. It's just, James, it's harsh. You know, we just had a nice, calm weekend. A lot of things behind the scenes have worked out, and, you know, the weekend was not too bad. And I thought, okay, Monday morning, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be ready for all the bullshit that happens in our court. I'm not. I wasn't. Any preferences? Captain Morgan's work? A silent objection. Wow. Do you like spice, James? Mount Gay. I don't think I've ever tried that. We went to the Make It in a Barrel. Ooh. I bet that's tasty. We went to the golf course yesterday and had lunch. Oh my God. It was so good. But where was I going with that? I had more to tell you than, oh, right. So we're standing there just getting ready to pay the bill, and I look up and there's a bottle of Jameson. And I'm like, oh, ginger, anyone? Oh, blah. It's true, Maxie. Yeah, I know he can't be in there for some of the witnesses, but I think it was more like the Alberts and the McCabe's and things like that he was supposed to be out of the room. I don't think it's cops and what have you. Newcastle Browns. Bev is using the silent objection to speed things up. That seems to be working out pretty good. Oh, yeah, that's just wonderful. Silent objection doesn't mean no grounds, though, Tony. They can still ask JJ, but so far they haven't. It blows me away that she takes all this time up and then she has little hissy fits when the defense is taking up any time. If you look at the time that the defense has taken, the time Lolly has taken, and the time off that Bev has taken, the defense they're doing a great job. They get right to the point. If Bev and Lolly would stop pulling their antics, would be that far ahead. Look what she's doing right now. More delays. And if it's fact, why are facts not allowed in? It blows me away. I will never understand this. I don't even know how to answer that. I do not know. Hola. Morning, Twitter. Good to see you guys. Oh, you know what? Watching this, it really does make you wonder, doesn't it? I'd love to find out. I should actually work on that. I want to know who her superiors are. Can't even see on that. Or best superiors. Because if this is allowed, this means it goes further up. It means that this goes further up. If her superiors are not paying attention to what's going on, then, or they're paying attention to it and they think it's okay, it makes me question them too. Imagine all the trials that are not televised. Yes, Yes. I think this is the reason, corruption is the reason that Richard Allen's is not being televised. I think it's because of the corruption going on out there. Yes, she regroups, not recesses. That's exactly what she does. Oh, yeah. I've been having Scooby snacks for a while here. She is. She is a disgrace. Oh, yes. I have my breakfast burrito as we're setting up. Yeah, right? Yeah. Bev's regrouping. Oh, looks like it. Yeah, breakfast burrito is what that is, Tony. Great big fat breakfast burrito. Jameson and ginger. I just don't, I can't see anybody thinking that would taste good. There's a lot of really odd people in this trial. A taquito. Oh. I took some footage when we went down one of the back roads yesterday with the water all running fast. And it's nice to go hang out by the water when you're dealing with some of these cases. Need some real fresh air. Jameson and ginger and a twist of rainbows. Blech. Yes, exactly. That's me, Tony. I might surprise you a little bit. I surprise many. Okay, here we go, guys. Here's the bag. Oh, I mean, the judge, I guess. She's not a judge. She's a shite show. Oh, you're not looking happy.
With that session being seated.
Is she?
Does council need to see me or are we all set?
I think we're all set.
Okay. Right ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. As a matter of housekeeping, I would ask for the admission of the last item that was marked for identification.
XX.
X.
Was it YY? Ah, that was back again.
I did the
Okay.
same thing. I think it's
All right.
XX.
So that will now be what, Madam Court Reporter? Thank you.
Why did she change all the
And with the
numbers?
court's
What made her
permission, I'd
decide
ask
to make that brilliant
see
move?
video. Yours?
Okay.
Bates, if you could move that to a runtime of 1 minute and 17 seconds, so thereabouts. And go ahead and pause that. Sergeant, do you recognize what's depicted in what's just been marked as Exhibit 542?
I do.
How do you recognize that?
It's an inversion of the video provided from Canton PD Sallyport.
It's actually, and that inversion corrects the perspective. Would you agree with that?
I would.
Okay, so now we're looking at what we've always been looking at, but it's clear that we're looking at the driver's side of the vehicle, correct?
That's correct.
And it's everything in it's properly oriented, is that right?
It's an accurate depiction of what is taking place.
Meaning right is right and left is left in this video.
The vehicle came from the right into the left. The driver's side is visible. and is closest to the camera.
If we could go ahead and, thank you, Sergeant. If we could go ahead and take this for just a few seconds.
Where you going, Proctor? What you doing over there, Proctor?
You saw the person that was toward the back of the vehicle that you earlier on Wednesday identified as Trooper Proctor moving toward the right, I'm sorry, yes, the passenger side taillight area in this video, correct?
I observed the person walking that way.
Let's go and play it.
Here we go again. Semantics. He's making himself look like a fool. No.
Awesome. And you see the person toward the taillight area moving out of frame just now, correct?
I did, yes.
And that person had the that black portfolio in his hand.
That's correct.
I'd like to ask Mr. Bates if you wouldn't mind moving the cursor back to the beginning before the video, I'm sorry, before the SUV was actually in the sallyport. You can pause that. Do you see what's depicted in the video now at one time, at the beginning of the video?
I see the still frame. I'm observing the still frame.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Can you see from where you are, sir, can you see the chyron at the bottom of the video in blue, indicating the date stamp and time stamp? Can you see that from where you are?
I see the blue color. I don't know what exactly it is.
Are your eyes good enough to see that that is completely inverted?
They are not.
They're not inverted?
They are not good enough.
That was a good answer to a bad question on my part. With the court's permission, would it be possible for the sergeant to approach the screen and take a look at that timestamp?
Can you do that, Sergeant, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you do that? He's been really difficult. He doesn't want to give them 2 inches. They just make it look bad.
Were you able to, may I inquire? Yes. Were you able to see that timestamp?
Yes, I was.
Sergeant, did that timestamp appear to be inverted?
The blue writing appears to be backwards.
So in this version of the video, which has been inverted from the version shown by the Commonwealth, the timestamp also was inverted, correct?
What appears on the screen is inverted.
Thank you.
Jesus.
I'd like to zoom in on, just with the court's permission, on a portion of the middle of the video.
Okay.
Sergeant, I want to direct your attention to an area of the video right above the hand truck. Do you see that area?
I do.
Do you see that white object just above the snow line?
No.
I see something there. I do not know what it is, if it's an object or it's more snow.
Can you tell if that's a sort of a dirty white rag?
I cannot tell what it is.
Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Bish. We can take that down. We've seen a corrected version of that sallyport video from that camera. There's also another camera on the opposite side of the sallyport, isn't there?
There is.
And that one, for lack of a better phrase, that one came out pretty grainy. Would you agree?
Yes, it's not perfect quality.
The other view would show, given the fact that it's on the opposite side of the wall of this video, that actually would show the right rear portion of the SUV as it was parked in that sallyport, would it not?
Yes, it would.
Let's take a look with the court's permission. This has already been marked as 446. I believe it was introduced last week.
Okay.
Could you display that?
Yes.
Thank you. I know it's very hard to see, Sergeant, but could you tell me as the video is paused right here at the beginning of the timestamp, can you see
Unreal.
the outline of the antique police car?
No.
I can make that out, yes.
And it appears that there's no vehicle in the foreground this side of that antique police car, correct?
That's correct.
You also can see that this video is in fact not inverted. It's the correct orientation, right?
That's correct.
And obviously it's pretty lacking in quality, but you can make out the fact that there is an outline of a vehicle there, correct?
Correct.
If we could play, may I approach the screen briefly?
Yes.
If we could, with the court's permission, begin playing at this
Me
time,
either,
this
Christy.
is about 5:07 and 10 seconds. That's time of day.
Hey, Dandy.
A little less than a minute.
Okay.
It's been sidebar, sidebar, Dandy. And Bev's in a fine form. She's bitchy again.
Sergeant, did you see what was depicted on the video if that just ran from 5:07 and a few seconds until it was just paused?
I did watch the video.
And how much time would you estimate elapsed as we just watched that video in real time?
15 seconds, maybe.
Okay. And do you see something? You see something in the foreground that just sort of appeared there next to that antique police car?
It appears that the SUV has now pulled into the sallyport and there's an individual standing behind the SUV.
And do you see what the time of day is on that timer?
I do not.
Can you see that it's paused at 5:50 and 46 seconds?
I cannot.
This is the last time I would ask that unfortunately, I cannot zoom on this, Your Honor. With the court's permission, would the sergeant make one more trip to the screen to give us the exact time that this is paused?
This is the last time, Sergeant. Would you please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Why do you have to say that, Bev? You don't, it's too far for him to get up and walk? Please.
What was the time? What is the timestamp where the video is paused?
5:50:46.
5:50 and 46 p.m. Correct?
That's correct.
So it appears that this video in about 15 seconds jumps 42 minutes to the 5:50 mark. Correct?
I don't know how much it jumps.
Well, from 5:08 approximately to 5:50 approximately, how much time is that?
Approximately 48.
42 minutes, right?
Excuse me, 42. Yes.
That's okay. And this reads a vehicle which shows the right rear taillight portion just appears, correct? At 5:50.
There's a vehicle that appears. There appears to be an individual standing behind the vehicle. It's not just a taillight that appears.
But Sergeant, the exact time that would show what Trooper Proctor was doing at the right rear taillight, that is missing.
Objection.
Sustained.
The exact time that would show what the person who you identified on Wednesday as being Trooper Proctor, that video is not there, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Why? Oh my God.
This video, Sergeant, you will agree, if that 42-minute period existed, that would have been the only video that would establish the actual condition of the taillight the moment the SUV arrived in police custody in that Sally Port, correct?
Objection.
You can ask that differently.
Is there any other video other than this one that would show the exact condition of that taillight as it pulled in to the driveway and then to the Sally Port? Or is this the only one?
From that location,
Correct.
that is the video that captures that time frame.
And that's also the video that captures that area of the car, correct? The right rear
It's
portion.
not hard to answer.
Correct.
And that 42 minutes from when the car arrived until 5:50 in the evening, that portion is missing, correct?
It's not missing, it's just not recorded.
It's not there, Sergeant. Baker. I'm not splitting words with you, splitting hairs. It's not there. It's gone, correct?
It's not on the screen now.
It's not anywhere, is it?
I do not know.
That's all I have.
What an ass. Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, Lally, please. We got. Oh, Lordy. Oh, Lordy. What? Right? If it's not recorded, it's not there. Oh my God.
Morning, Sergeant.
Good morning, sir.
So how this video was played before the jury on Wednesday during your direct testimony, the condition of that video, the view of that video, that's how you received it from the Canton Police Department, correct?
That's correct.
So nothing was done to alter it, change it in any way, shape, or form from when you received it to when it was played before the jury.
Sustained. You can't
Did
leave this to
everything.
Molly.
What if anything was done to alter or change that video, received it to the time that it was played before the jury?
Objection.
Ask it differently one more time.
As far as the condition when you received it and the condition when it was played for the jury, what was different?
There was no manipulation, alteration of the video between
I'll allow the answer.
when we received it from Canton Police Department, when I played it, and when it was played for you.
Now, as far as the cameras are motion activated, correct?
That's correct.
And as far as the skipping that you observed at various points of the video, was that something that occurred once or more than once?
More than once, repeatedly.
And was it one specific portion of the video? And by that, I mean, was it only at the beginning or only in the middle or only at the end, or was it sort of throughout?
It's consistently happening when there's lack of motion. The video does not record because it's not triggered to record.
You make no sense because there was someone in there at all times.
From the
Worse.
video, at least as far as you've seen, the one that you were shown on Wednesday and the one that you were shown today, or the portions that you were shown today, what, if any, difference did you note between the content of what's contained in the video?
The content of the video is accurate depiction of what's taken place. The only difference that I noticed today is that the version played was actually inverted from the original version that I received and which was produced.
Your Honor, with the court's permission,
I don't buy
would
that.
ask that the entirety of that 5 minutes and 51 seconds of video be played for the jury.
Okay?
You might have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Isn't this frustrating? Exactly. I don't know. Yeah. 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 He's a goon. Oh, there we go. People magically appear. They should never have shown that inverted. Not in a million years. He sure did. He sure did.
Pause there, Ms. Gilman. And that
Yeah.
area just played before the jury, that is when the vehicle was brought in by the tow truck driver from the flatbed from the driveway video into the sallyport area, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
He should never in a million years showed it the other way and not told them. Or showed this, like I say, and not have told them that this was the actual way the vehicle came in and that the other one was inverted. And Proctor does hang out in that very back corner for quite a while. What the hell?
Sergeant, I'm going to direct your attention to the person that just opened the driver's side door. That's the tow truck driver, is that correct?
That's correct.
Just ask you to take a look at the door, and in particular, the snow on the door when he closes that door. Gentlemen, if you could. You pause just for one moment. Now, Sergeant, if I could direct your attention back to the ring video. I think it was video 153 from Exhibit 6. And you were shown that video on cross-examination and asked about any movement that you saw on the driver's side rear tire, things of that nature. Do you recall that?
I do.
And do you recall that portion of the video when it's alleged that Ms. Reed's vehicle came close to or made contact with Mr. O'Keefe's vehicle in the driveway? At that point, did you observe any snow coming off of Mr. O'Keefe's car when they came close to each other?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Of course you will.
I don't remember exactly if there was snow coming off the vehicle. There was snow falling, and that was captured by the ring video. I don't recall if any snow came off the vehicle.
If you could.
Good God. Yeah, I agree. I agree. This is just very shoddy. Is that Proctor again back there? Or still back there? One, two, three people. All righty then. Ruthie, they are. It's just insane. Well, and if there was anything falling off the vehicle for whatever strange reason, they're probably just pushing it right out. Yeah, I don't buy this foggy camera on the passenger side. I don't buy it that one came out like that. And if they did, wow. I mean, they drive around with cracked windshields, I guess. It's a blizzard. It's a blizzard. I see 5 flakes. Oh, look at that. Magically appears. Oh. I know, Ruthie. Where is it? There's no reason for it to skip in all of this because there's constant movement. I don't remember if there was snow on her car or not. It's got a memory of a gnat when it comes to the defense. They all do. So I wonder if the defense is going to call Proctor. Or not the defense, the prosecution. Yeah, exactly. Just unreal. Which one, Dandy?
And Mr. Officer, we can have the lights back up. Now, Sergeant, that video starts at approximately 5:30 p.m. on January 29th, correct?
Correct.
Is that before or after the ring video 153 from Exhibit 6 at 5:07 in the morning at Mr. O'Keefe's house when you can see the defendant's smashed taillight?
Objection.
So the objection is sustained. Ask the question.
5:30 p.m. on January 29th, is that before or after 5:07 a.m. When you observed the defendant's vehicle on the ring video at Mr. O'Keefe's house?
That is after.
And is that before or after you observed on the ring video the defendant, Ms. Roberts, and Ms. McCabe driving the defendant's vehicle and parking it in the driveway of Mr. O'Keefe's house?
It's after.
And is it before or after about, say, 8:22 in the morning, at some point when a Canton Cruiser parks in the driveway behind the defendant's vehicle?
It's after.
And is it before or after about 12:30 p.m. or so when the defendant and her father and her brother from the videos from Exhibit 6, the ring videos on 1 Meadows Ave, are parked in and around the defendant's vehicle and then leave with the defendant's vehicle to go to Dyke?
It's after.
And is it before or after the video that you testified about on Wednesday in regard to the surveillance video from the defendant's father's house in Dayton when that vehicle is being loaded onto the truck and you can see the taillight there?
John.
Okay.
It's after.
Now, again, you had a conversation or an interview with the defendant on the afternoon of January 29th when you were in Dayton, correct?
That's correct.
And during the course of that interview, she made statements about her broken taillight and when that occurred, correct?
Objection.
Do you want the instruction or do you want to come see me at sidebar?
Sidebar.
Yeah, that's right, Dandy. I'll keep my eyes peeled as well and see if that's something that happens because I would really like to see some things happening in the background when it comes to this case. Give us some clarity. So do I, JJ. He looks like a Muppet. I don't like it. I'm like James. I don't like anything about him. I hate it when they get up there and they start playing their games. I don't like game playing in a courtroom. It disturbs me. And the more cases we follow, and we've been watching trials on this channel for about 2.5 years, going on 3 years soon. And I have literally, previous to this and up until I started streaming, I've never seen this in a courtroom. Not like this. You know, Fran Gull's got her own mess. But this, it makes a person a little cranky. I can't help it.
You are unmuted.
I don't like liars. Oh.
Now, Sergeant, between the version of the video that's you and the jury
Thanks,
witnessed on
Andy.
Wednesday and the version that you just witnessed the entirety of right now, again, what if any difference as far as the depiction or people or places between those two versions of the video?
Outside of it being a mirror image of itself, it accurately depicts any activity or action in the sallyport.
And at any point in time that you were in the sallyport area of the Canton Police Department garage, did you or Trooper Proctor ever go near, touch, manipulate the rear passenger side taillight area or the rear passenger side quarter panel of the defendant's vehicle?
We absolutely did not.
Now, if I could turn you back to some questions you were asked on cross-examination about something that was reported to the Chief Medical Examiner's office. Do you recall that?
I do recall that.
And some questions about statements that you had made to the OCME at approximately 10:41 a.m. on January 29th. Do you recall that?
I do recall that.
And you were asked some questions about reporting it as a possible domestic assault, correct?
That is correct.
And can you explain to the jury what led to that statement as far as what you knew at that time and why you would make those statements to the medical examiner?
The Massachusetts General Law directs us, just as it gives the district attorney's power to and authority over all death investigations. That's the following section 4 of that chapter. Excuse me, following section from section 4, section 5 of that chapter directs all state medical and police entities to work in coordination with the medical examiner's office. By law, we're supposed to work together on the medical legal investigations that the medical examiner's office conducts. We conduct the criminal portion of the investigation. They conduct the medical portion of the investigation. Thus, I contacted the medical examiner's office and advised them that what we had learned at the time. Up to that point, we had learned that the defendant stated that she hit him. We had collected, meaning the Canton Police Department had collected a broken glass. So based on the physical evidence and the statements made by the defendant to the first responders at the scene at that point in time, I had communicated those facts to the medical examiner's office. That way they would document it, but also be prepared to investigate the case with the most up-to-date information available.
Now, at that time that you made that statement to the representative from the Chief Medical Examiner's office, had you been to Good Samaritan Hospital and seen Mr. O'Keefe at that point?
I have not.
And had you obviously seen any of the injuries that Mr. O'Keefe had sustained prior to making that statement to the medical examiner?
I had not.
Now, as far as the information that you received, you mentioned first responders indicating that the defendant had stated, "I hit him." Who was the first responder that provided that information?
Be Canton Police Sergeant Good.
In addition to that, did you or Trooper Proctor speak with any of the Canton Fire personnel?
Yes, we did.
And who did he speak to?
I believe it was firefighter Fleming.
So firefighter Flamati, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, after going to Good Samaritan Hospital and viewing Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, as far as what you had earlier reported to the medical examiner, what, if anything, changed based on those observations as far as your opinion as to what had transpired?
Based on what I learned from observing the injuries, I could tell that the glass.
Objection.
He can't say this.
I'm going to allow it. You can move to strike it, but I'm going to allow it.
I could tell that the glass was most likely not the object, the weapon, which was used to cause the injury to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head.
What?
Thank you, sir. May I have a moment?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't understand why that was allowed in. I don't understand that.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions.
He didn't make any
Any
headway.
recross?
Very briefly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Report to the
That's exactly
OCME,
it, Tony.
you said there's a glass to the face, not to the back of the head, correct?
I'm not sure how they wrote it down, but I would need to be refreshed on my memory.
Okay, fair enough. Can I approach?
Yes.
It is.
Last sentence. May I?
Can you guys
Yes.
smash the thumb for me, please? Help me get into that algorithm.
Does that refresh your
YouTube's
recollection?
not pushing
Yes, it does.
out.
What did you say to the OC, or what did you report to the OCME?
That there was a possibility that the decedent was struck to the face with a glass.
You also, with regard to the phrase, "I hit him," or the Sergeant Good and or Flamati telling you that she said, Ms. Reed said she hit him. When did Sergeant Good tell you that?
It would have been during our conversations at the police department.
And when did EMT Flamati tell you that?
He never told me that.
So the only thing you were going on with regard to the phrase or the statement that you claim my client indicated, where my client indicated she hit him, is coming from Sergeant Good.
That information at that time was provided by the first responders from the scene.
And Sergeant Good then relayed that to you, correct?
At some point, yes.
Is there a single report memorializing that Sergeant Good reported to you that morning before 10:41 a.m.? Before 10:41 a.m. that my client made the statement that she hit him?
I don't believe so.
Boom.
I want to shift gears real quick to the video. A couple of quick questions about that. When did you, and I'm talking about the higher quality video, like the one that was inverted. When did you receive that video? What date?
You tell.
I'm not sure. It was at some point in either late April or early May.
After we had started this trial.
Objection.
Do you know?
I do not, Your Honor.
Whatever.
After mid-April, correct?
I believe so. I'm strictly speculating.
Who asked you to retrieve that video?
I did not retrieve that video.
I'm sorry, that was a presumptuous
Yeah,
question.
James.
At what point were you asked to secure the video, or were you ever asked to secure the video?
That video was never secured by me. I was not asked to secure it. I just was asked to review it.
Okay, so who did secure the video to your knowledge?
Holy.
I do not know.
You were aware that it was, well, let me ask you a couple of different questions then, based on that. You've already testified that you knew that the Canton Police Department was recused from any investigation concerning this case, correct?
At one point, we learned that the Canton Police Department, the decision was made way above my level, and I was advised by Detective Lieutenant Tully that Canton Police had recused themselves from the investigation as far as interviews go.
And you knew that that recusal was because of a connection between the Canton Police Department and the Albert family, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you know, or were you informed that the recusal was based on the connection between the Canton Police Department and the Albert family?
Objection.
So it's sustained for the same reason I sustain the Commonwealth's objection at sidebar, Mr. Jackson.
Jesus.
Last question.
Shit. No facts, guys.
Who provided the video?
I do not know.
Canton Police Department, wasn't it?
You asked who? That's an entity.
Okay, what entity provided the video?
Friday.
It came from the Canton Police Department.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, Sergeant, you are all set to.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your next witness, Mr. Lally?
Yes, Your Honor. The Commonwealth call Officer Nicholas Barrows to the stand.
Okay.
Holy Bev. Why in God's green earth do they try not to let facts in? Like, if it's fact, why all the games?
Just home, sir, the evidence given to the court and jury in the case now here.
What do you have to say about the suit? Gotta have a comment. Check out that.
All
Right?
right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning,
Do
sir.
we know that? Bev?
So, please state your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Nicholas Barrows, Barros,
Oh my God.
And how are you employed, sir?
with the town of Dayton.
And what, if any, role or what do you do for the town of Dayton?
I'm a police sergeant for the police department.
And how long in total have you been a member of the Dayton Police?
In total, started in 2011, 14 years this December.
And how long have you had the rank of sergeant with the Dayton Police?
A year and a half.
Now, if I could direct your attention to January 29th, 2022. Do you recall that date?
I do.
And were you working that day?
I was.
And do you recall what kind of shift you were working on that occasion?
I was working the 8 to 4, the day shift.
And was that the only shift that you had worked on that occasion, or how long had you been on shift by the time you came on for the 8 to 4?
That particular day, I was working from 8 a.m. to midnight. It was on a double.
Now, at some point when you first came in, with reference, if you could explain to the jury just briefly or in general terms, when you come on shift for the Dayton Police, what, if any, communication, well, first and foremost, what was your role as far as that particular shift was concerned?
I was the officer in charge that day from 8 a.m. to midnight. When I came in at 8 a.m., the outgoing shift, the midnight to 8 shift, had advised me that a resident had called the police station on a 911 call requesting a ride to Brockton Hospital to meet his daughter due to her daughter's boyfriend passing away, and he needed a ride due to the snowstorm.
And then as your shift continues, what, if any, further contact or who, if anyone, reached out to you in regard to that earlier situation?
Later on, I believe it was around 2:30 in the afternoon, I received a phone call from the Norfolk District Attorney's Office with the troopers assigned there. and they had stated that they were going to come to Dayton to retrieve a vehicle that was involved in a homicide.
And did they give you a specific address as far as where they were going?
I believe the address was 345 Country Hill Drive in Dayton, North Dayton.
And with regard to that address, what, if anything, did you recognize between that and the earlier call that you were just speaking?
That was the address that came up on the 911 call when that gentleman had called earlier on the prior shift.
And at some point, did you come to find out who the residents were at that address on Country Hill Lane?
I did.
Okay.
Who did you find them to be?
It was the Reed residence.
All right. So, Sergeant, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up, and Mr. Lally, you too.
Of course.
And the Reed residence was at a William and Janet Reed, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, as far as you received that call at about 2:30, do you know specifically who you spoke to around 2:30 in the afternoon?
Trooper Michael Proctor.
Oh, there we go.
And as far as that earlier information that you were talking about with the 911 call, what, if anything, from that did you impart to Trooper Proctor?
I advised Trooper Proctor that we did receive a 911 call on the midnight to 8 shift about the resident looking to get a ride to Brockton Hospital.
And during that initial call, how was it sort of left as far as what, if anything, you were going to provide as far as assistance or with regard to the troopers on that first call?
On the first call, the troopers just had asked me if I could meet them at that residence as a courtesy since they were coming into my jurisdiction.
And what, if anything, did they indicate to you as far as where they were or when they felt they would be arriving in that area?
Trooper Proctor advised me that they were heading, I believe, from Canton, and once they were about 10 minutes away, they would recontact me so that I could meet them at the residence.
And subsequently, later in that afternoon, did you receive further contact from Trooper Proctor?
I did.
And do you know about what time that was?
I believe the first phone call was around 3 p.m. that he had called me and said that they would be there in about 10 minutes.
And upon receiving that call, what, if anything, did you do?
I had contacted, Trooper Proctor had asked me to contact our tow company to have them meet us at the residence as well. And I said, once I hung up with him, I would contact the tow company and then respond to that address on Country Hill Drive.
Is there a specific tow company that the Dayton Police uses with regard to towing of vehicles within the town?
During that period, it was Diamond Towing.
And so did you contact someone at Diamond Towing in reference to responding to that address as well?
I did. I contacted the owner and he responded.
Now, as far as that area of Dayton, if you could explain to the jury sort of what you observed as you were coming down towards that residence on that day.
Okay, so when I responded to that address, that street is off of 138. When I turned onto Country Hill Drive, I was traveling west. When I arrived on that street, I observed a black pickup truck parked on the street facing east. I was flagged down by that black pickup truck by the driver and was told that they were the troopers that I had spoke to, Trooper Michael Proctor and the other sergeant.
Sergeant that left the room as you were coming in?
Correct.
And what if the identification did they provide to you in reference to that?
They showed me their ID and their badges.
And then from there, where did you proceed?
I had parked my marked police vehicle at the end of the driveway since it was a snowstorm and we could not get into the driveway. And then we walked up to the residence.
So when you say it was a snowstorm and we couldn't get into the driveway, can you expound upon that a little as far as explain to the jury why it was that you couldn't get into the driveway?
It was about a foot of snow in the driveway.
And as far as that snow that you observed when you arrived there, was that snow, how did that snow appear as far as, did it appear as if it had been shoveled or snow blown or untouched or how did it?
It was untouched.
Now, as you're going through the snow, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's yourself, Trooper Proctor, and the sergeant from the state police, and who, if anyone else, is going along with you?
I had an officer that was field training with me that day, and he was with me as well. And we went up to the residence.
And as you're walking up to the residence, what, if anything, did you come upon as you're going towards, say, any door or getting closer to the home?
I remained at the garage. The two troopers went to the front door and made contact with the homeowner.
Now, as far as you were there specifically for a vehicle, correct?
Correct.
Did you observe a vehicle in the driveway at any time?
Yes, we observed a black Lexus SUV in the driveway.
And what, if any, observations did you make to the rear area of that vehicle specifically?
At first, I did not go up to the vehicle. I just remained at the driveway and waited for the troopers to come back. And once they came back, they were let into the house through the garage. I had walked in with them briefly and then went back out to the garage and remained with the vehicle.
And as far as at any point in time, did you have any conversation with anyone named Karen Reed that day while you were at the house?
I did not.
Now, with respect to you come back out to the garage, is that correct?
Correct.
And the troopers are inside the house, is that also correct?
Correct.
Now, at some point, do other vehicles come down to the driveway area of this residence that you were at?
I had contacted the highway superintendent after speaking with the troopers about how to retrieve the vehicle since the driveway was untouched and had about a foot of snow. I had made the decision that I would call the highway superintendent and see if that he would come and plow the driveway so that the tow truck would have access inside in the driveway.
And just in reference to this driveway, just if you could, not exact footage or anything, but how close is this Lexus SUV parked in relation to the roadway? How long is that driveway?
It's got to be about 150 feet off the roadway, if not more.
And if you recall, from where you're standing at the point of the garage, was what part of the vehicle was facing you? Was it the front of the vehicle, the back of the vehicle, the side of the vehicle? If you know?
I was looking at the left side of the vehicle.
And at some point, did you make any observations of the right rear part of that Lexus SUV?
I did.
And what, if anything, did you observe about that area of the vehicle?
I saw that there was some damage to the right rear taillight. To my best ability and recollection, that taillight was not completely damaged. It was cracked and a piece was missing, but not completely damaged.
And then beyond the taillight area of that vehicle, what, if anything else, did you observe as far as damage to the rear passenger side area?
Like a dent on the rear quarter.
And as far as the dent on the rear quarter of the panel that you saw, was that above the taillight, below the taillight, or something?
It's probably right in conjunction with the taillight in that same area.
And from the time that you made these observations of the vehicle, at any point did you go sort of physically up to the vehicle?
I walked up to the vehicle, correct.
And about how far away from the vehicle did you get?
5 to 10 feet away.
And as far as the sort of outside or exterior of the vehicle, we mentioned obviously there's about a foot of snow on the ground. What, if anything, precipitation-wise or weather-wise, was around or on the outside of the vehicle?
Just snow.
And in particular, in this area of the right rear passenger side and that taillight, was there any snow or ice or anything around that area that you observed?
On the vehicle itself?
Yes.
Yes, on the vehicle there was snow on the vehicle.
And not to put words in your mouth, but sort of caked on there, is that correct?
I guess you could say caked on, correct.
So you'd reached out to the highway superintendent to have someone come out and plow the driveway, correct?
Correct.
And do you know about how long it was between the time that you made that call and the time that the plow driver came out to clear it?
Less than 10 minutes.
And the sort of clearing of the driveway and the process of that, do you know about how long that took?
I'd say another 10 minutes or so.
And as far as the time that the troopers went into the house, at some point the troopers obviously came out of the house, correct?
Correct.
Do you know about how long it was that they were inside of the house?
More than 30 minutes, less than an hour.
Now, at any point in time that while you were there, did you yourself or did you see anyone else touching or making any contact or manipulating or anything in that rear passenger side area of either the taillight or the dent?
I did not.
I'm sorry.
I did not.
If I may have a moment, John?
Yes.
It is a strange use of words. Yes. Make this make sense. Oh, hello, girls. Hello.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, cross-examination.
Really?
All right, Sergeant Barrows, you are all set, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, see what a waste of time that was. There you
Do you want to call another witness or morning recess?
Morning recess, but, Your Honor, if I could just, either before or after, I just need to address one thing with the court at sidebar.
All right, so we'll send the jurors out. Jurors, why don't we take the morning recess?
Oh my God, you guys. She seems happy. Yeah, isn't that something? That's that it didn't. I don't know why he was up there. Exactly. Exactly. Wow. So who do you guys think is next? Oh, Dandy, I would love that. So that's an apartment, that building. Love it, love it, love it. That Moab is one spot I would love to go to be honest with you. The case of I think it's Kyle. Oh, how do you say her name again? Kylan and Crystal. I'll have to refresh my memory, but since that case happened, I've always been interested in Moab. Oh, maybe a medical examiner next. That's exactly right, Christy. We still have no idea what has happened to John. Yeah, exactly. We don't see that very often. Not right now. I can't even imagine. So what do you think Lolly's up there whining about now? I think I heard she does have the right to go up there at sidebars because it's her case. Yeah, and that one as well, Arches and the Canyons, with Gabby and Brian. There's also that. So do you pass that going to Moab? Are you going past there? Because that looked like a beautiful area. Kylan and Crystal were from Moab, and they were van lifers, I guess you would call it. They both worked in Moab, but they stayed at this campsite. And cute little spot, not far from Moab. And they were deleted one night. And it ends up, it sounds like it was some guy that worked with Crystal at McDonald's in Moab. And he didn't like couples of the same sex, it sounds like. And yeah, he was brutal. He was brutal. But they found him. He unalived himself. So both of them are on the way. Oh my God, that's awesome. So how long does it take? Yep. Wretched is a good word. Yep. The ladies that got pew-pewed. Yeah. Yeah, I did that case. It's in the playlist as well. They were happening right around the same time as Gabby.
You are unmuted.
All right, so we'll take about a half an hour break.
A half an hour break? What? A half hour break. Well, we may as well listen to some music.
Darkness falls, it gets hard to see what my life has in store for me. Oh, it makes me wanna scream when I'm standing in the pouring rain. I feel like my hands are tied up in these rusty chains. I travel my mind for answers, you see. The answer tonight that will set me free. You know it makes me wanna scream when I'm standing in the pouring rain. I feel like my hands are tied up in these rusty chains. Ghostman call. You wish you were dead. Oh, it makes me wanna scream when I'm standing in the pouring rain. I feel like my hands are tied up in these rusty chains.
Hey guys. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep Karen Reed's case paused, and I will come back to it later because I really, really want to see what's going on with that apartment. What do you guys think? Carry on, or do you want to see what's going on with that? Oh, we are. Stop. Does anybody want to see that, or should we just keep going here? Hello, hello. You say yes, Ruthie? Anybody else? The trial is a mess. We've got about 5 more hours. So anyone who wants me to start looking at that fire, just put 1 in the comment if you don't mind. And if you don't, push 0. 0 for Bev, 1 for fire. Okay. One. Okay. Sure. Okay, that sounds good. So I am just going to make up another stream, and then I'll come back to this, and then we can skip through lunch and what have you. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you very soon.
Dun 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 dun.